The debate over which CRM you should use in 2026 is not slowing down, but this demo is going to show you exactly why Close continues to top the list for thousands of scaling companies. Here is the reality. The problem with a giant like HubSpot is the friction of a non-native dialer and the complexity that goes with it. And the challenge with GoHighLevel is that it tries to do everything okay without doing any one thing great. Close bridges that gap. It is truly a sales-focused operating system that brings everything into one view. You have an integrated power dialer, clean inboxes, smart views, custom objects, open APIs, workflows, and much, much more. It's built for teams that need to spend less time on data entry and more time actually closing deals. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Jordan, co-founder of RevPilot and one of Close CRM's top partners. Now, our mission is simple. We build the most effective sales systems in the world, and we're pretty good at it. Today, I'm taking you through the entire platform, including the new 2026 features like the new workflow additions, AI enrichment, and many others that allow inbound and outbound sales teams to scale faster than ever. Without wasting another second, let's dive in. All right, so regardless if you are a founder, a sales manager, or a sales rep, this video is going to take a look through your perspective as we go through Close CRM in each of these tools. Now, for the sake of this video, we are going to start up a brand new Close CRM account so you can see exactly how to get started, and we will go through each feature. Now, I'm going to go ahead and create an account right here. We're going to pop in a password. Now, if you use the link in our description of this video, you will get a free 14-day trial. So feel free to click on that link and get signed up. Now, once we actually log in, I just have to verify my email. We are in here. We're going to fill out some basic onboarding information. So it's very easy to get started and test this software out. And just like that, we are already signed into Close CRM. So again, you can start a 14-day trial, get logged in. Now, once we get logged in, there is a lot we can do in here, but it is going to be far more simpler than using GoHighLevel or HubSpot specifically. Now, as I mentioned in the intro of this video, the biggest issue with something like HubSpot is you have to go find an external dialer, something like Alloware, Dialpath, Convoso, Dialer.io, integrate that into the system itself. Now, inside of Close CRM, we actually have a dialer inside of here, so it's going to save you costs and it's going to be much more simple to use. You're going to have less automation breaks, etc., and you're going to be able to achieve your goal of making more outbound dials, making more dials in general, and having great conversations. Now, the first thing that we want to navigate to is going to be the leads profile. So we're just going to pop in a lead here. We're going to name this Jordan Park. That's me. What's up, guys? So we're going to go ahead and create a lead right here. Now, we can actually see the lead profile when we come into here. It is extremely clean. On this left-hand side, we got a small about section where we can add a URL, an email address, a description, whatever we want. We can simply add tasks right here for close this deal. We can make it high priority or not. We can select the owner and we can select date. Now, that is so much easier than using HubSpot tasks or GoHighLevel tasks. So it makes it very, very seamless. We have opportunities. This is where you would add your actual deal opportunity and the amount. So let's say it's a $10,000 deal. The status, we're going to say proposal sent. We're going to mark a date, etc. Okay. So all you have to do is click save. Now you can add a bunch of different stuff to these opportunities. We'll go through that in a minute. Next up, we have the contact. So down here, we can add a phone number, right? So we're going to do jordan@revpilot.com and go ahead and save that contact. So now we have our first lead inside of Close CRM. Okay. Now in the top right-hand corner, we have what we call activities, and we are going to go in depth on activities because this is ultimately how RevPilot runs an entire Close account. Make sure everything is seamless, everything automates, all of the stuff that is necessary actually gets updated. Okay. So when we come into the settings, so the next thing I want you to do is go ahead and navigate over to the settings, and we're going to do a quick overview of the settings before we jump into workflows, which is going to be probably the coolest part of this, as well as the smart views. Smart views have an incredible power inside of them to be able to filter through leads, bubble up leads, and identify exactly what we need. So when we come into here, there are a few things that we really want to focus on, which is one, custom activity. So a custom activity allows you to log certain activities inside of this system, right? So typically what we're going to use this for, and we're just going to make it real simple. We're going to go O1. Now, if you put the O1, it's going to organize these in order. So we're going to do O1, uh, call booked, for example, and we're just going to save that. Okay. Now, once we save that, you can see we can add whatever properties we want on here. We can add custom fields, we can create fields, whatever we want. We can also share them across organizations. So when we come in a name, we're going to do lead owner, and then we're going to do a user. So you can see how simple that is. We're going to click add. Perfect. So we have the lead owner of the call booked activity. And then we're going to add date booked, for example. So this is going to be the actual date that and don't use date and time if you can avoid it. It makes you select a time also. It's not needed. You can just select date. So now we have a date right here. And then we are going to add date of call. So the difference between date and data call is simply when they booked versus when the call is actually going to happen, right? So after we have that custom activity, we're going to click back. We're going to click new activity. And then we're going to go to O2 call completed. Okay. We're going to save this. Now, this means if we had a call booked, we can do a call completed activity. So we can make sure the closers are always filling out the same information. Now, if you are a closer watching this, it's extremely easy to fill out. I'm going to show you how to fill out a custom activity once we create them. So we're going to click add field. We're going to once again do lead owner. You always want a lead owner on these. We're going to do user, and then we're going to click add field right here. And we are going to do date of call. Right? So we want that to match the other data call property. And then you can add whatever other stuff that you want. So for example, let's get a notes field on here. We're going to do rich text or text area like this so they can take notes. And then we're going to add a objection reason. And we're going to do a drop down select, and we're going to do time, money, not interested, finance. Actually, we already have money. So let's just leave it at that for now. So there's a couple options. All right. And then lastly, we are going to add a call O3, call not completed. Okay. So once we save that, we're going to add very similar properties. We're going to have lead owner. We're going to pop lead owner on here. So this is going to be user field. We are going to pop a lead, date of call, just like the last one. So we're going to do date. And then we are going to do, so we have lead owner, data call, and then we're going to do reason. And this is going to be the reason for the no-show or the call not completed. So they would just submit this if that call doesn't show up. So we're going to have cancel, reschedule. We can have no-show, etc. Okay. So we're going to add that. Now we have our custom activity set up. Now you can use these for new activities. If you have a form completion or an email reply, you can use them for triage call, booked, completed, not completed. We want to use them for things like deal won, deal lost, but we're just going to do these three for now. Okay. So we have our three custom activities in here. Now you can navigate to custom fields. You can add whatever custom fields you want. For example, if we want to add source and bring that in from our funnel, we can do source and we can do a text, right? You can turn off enable AI enrich. We'll circle back to the AI enrich feature here in a moment. That's one of the newer features that they have released. So we're going to click add source, and now we have that source there. Now, custom objects, we're not going to cover them in depth in this video, but you do have access to create custom objects. So for example, if you are a wholesale company and you want to create properties that are separate from contacts and opportunities, you can actually create a custom object on that left-hand side for really whatever you want, right? So pretty cool opportunity there to be able to add essentially whatever object you want. Now, integration links allow you to add to the actual user, the lead profile. You can see here the lead, contact, or opportunity, any type of integration link you want. So you can do google.com / the person's name or the person's company, right? So we can create those integration links. It makes it easy for the sales rep to click on it and open up whatever they want. That could be WhatsApp, that could be a LinkedIn search, that could be a Google search, etc. Okay. Next up, we have scheduling. So you can connect Calendly directly to here, or we can add a new scheduling link from an external source. We just click right there, name, we add the link, and we click save, or you can connect your calendar, okay? Next up is statuses and pipelines. We're not going to make any changes to the demo account for now. but I highly recommend you do. So the statuses, we want to keep these as minimal as possible. You can add whatever statuses you want inside of here. All you have to do is type it in here. So you can type status and click add. Okay, super, super simple. And you can add those statuses. Now, we also have opportunity pipelines and statuses. So we can either add a new pipeline right here. We can see new pipeline. And then we can add whatever status is. So call booked, for example, is an active. We have call completed. And then we have call not completed. All right. So that means our opportunities that are associated with our deals can go directly inside of there. Now, once you have those things set up, we have AI knowledge sources. So we can actually add data sources to get additional knowledge. If you click add AI right here, you can name what that is and then paste the URL inside of here. So if I want information about my own company, I can add a source right there. Next up is phone and voicemail. And this is one of the beautiful things about Close CRM, as I have mentioned. It is extremely simple to get a phone number up and start dialing on the first day that you use Close CRM. All you have to do is click new number and then click personal or group number. So we're going to click new number. We're going to go ahead and select our country. So we're going to select the United States right here and request new number. As soon as we do that, it's going to create a new number for us. And just like that, we have a number that we can call on. Now, you do have to submit A2P just like any other organization when using a Twilio or other 10-digit phone number, but you can make phone calls immediately. So we already have that. Now, we do have US compliance, so we can add our A2P details right here. We have regulatory bundles for other countries if we want to be able to call and text message in other countries. We also have voicemail drop, so we can add a voicemail drop right here. And then lastly, we have the predictive dialer. So in the predictive dialer, when it disconnects on a lead as it's calling multiple leads, we have the opportunity to create a abandonment message, which is exactly what the details that they need to call back. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now, this is call outcomes. So you have the opportunity to create call outcomes of meetings. So if you have a call or a meeting, you can actually add a call outcome. So the outcome could be no answer, or it could be voicemail, whatever it is. So calls and meetings, calls or meetings. Okay, so we're going to assign that to calls. You can add that there. And now we can see that any call I make, I can disposition that specifically as no answer. This is going to help with your tracking. Next up is the note taker. So this is in beta, but we have a note taker directly inside of Close CRM. So you can save money on things like Fathom or Read AI, whatever note taker you're actually using. Your sales reps can use the note taker directly inside of here. All you need to do is connect your calendar, connect your Zoom, and then add the note taker to all meetings. Go ahead and click that right there, and the note taker will pop up. You can also change the details of the note taker's name right here to whatever you want. All right, I can change it to CloseBot and save that. Okay. Moving on to email. Email is directly integrated. If you use Google, you can just set up your account right here. You can also increase or decrease your sending limit. So if we toggle this on, we can limit how many emails can go out, manual emails, bulk emails, etc. Okay, so we're going to enable this real quick just so you can see what this looks like. We have the daily spending limit. We have the hourly sending limit. We have minimum delay of emails between, and we also have mass sending limits over here. Okay, so we can update those. Make sure that these are turned on before you start sending a bunch of emails. You do not want your email to get marked as spam. Next up is unsubscribe links. You can include unsubscribe links in your emails if you would like. Totally up to you guys. And then you can also create new unsubscribed links to do different things. Moving on to templates and snippets, we have email and SMS templates, and then we also have snippets. So any workflows or email templates that you need to send from a sales rep, you can easily create the template. When you create a template, you just click right here. You name the template, whatever you want. You pop in a subject, hey, and then you can use these tags right here. So we're going to say contact first name. So, hey, contact first name, ... And then we have the body. This is the body of the email. And just like above, you can use a contact tag. And we have contact tags for any of the native sources as well as any of your custom properties. So you can pretty much send whatever you want. Now, you can decide what unsubscribe link we want right here. We can add attachments and we can choose to share it with the organization for use in workflows. Now, the same thing with SMS templates, extremely easy to do that. You just click right here, new template, and you follow the same rules. Now, when we come over to snippets, we can add snippets. So if your sales team wants to add snippets, all you have to do is put it right here, and then they can choose to use that on those leads. Now, one thing before you start using workflows, you want to make sure you toggle this on. This allows workflows to send on your behalf. Your workflows will not function as expected if you do not have this on. Kind of a hidden thing in here that you got to go make sure you turn on. Next up is blackout dates. Now, this is a new 2026 feature. They recently added this. This allows you to essentially add different blackout dates. So Jewish holidays, maybe. We've had quite a few clients that respect the Jewish holidays and they're off for those days. So you can actually add that in here and it will black out the calendar. You can also black out your workflows to make sure that those are not sending on specific holidays or dates, whatever that may be. Next up is forms. So another new feature. I already did a video on this right after it was released, but we have forms inside of Close CRM. So this is brand new. You can click right here and you can create a form. So we can do that. We see the form right here. Super, super simple. We can add headings. We can add, name, email address, whatever we want. We can go to settings. We can track URL parameters directly in here and add any additional URL parameters we want. And then we also have the embedded code. All you have to do is copy code, publish it, paste it, and now you have a form that's tied directly to Close CRM. Next up is integration. So we have all kinds of different integrations. We have HubSpot, Zoom, Zapier, Segment, Calendly. You have a lot of different things. One of the most underrated tools that is in this list is the Claude MCP server. So you can actually change how your account functions via Claude and the MCP server, which is a huge deal. I have a whole nother video on it if you guys want to explore that, but you do have the option to do that, okay? Now, last piece of the settings that I want to go through is the fact that they have an open API. You can essentially do whatever you want. All you have to do is look up Close CRM API documentation. And if you have a developer or someone that is very techie, you have the ability to essentially do anything and everything you want with the REST API inside of Close CRM. So highly recommend exploring that if you're a little bit more advanced, but you don't need to. Now, coming into the core features, if we go to opportunities, we can see our opportunity pipeline right here. Now, we created that additional pipeline earlier, so you could see the new pipeline right here: call book, call completed, call not completed. Very, very simple and straightforward. This toggle right here allows you to toggle on opportunities that may need attention because they've been sitting in different stages for too long, and it provides context on those actual opportunities. We can sort our pipeline by date, leads, and users. We also have some settings over here so we can turn on different things to make sure that we can see exactly what we want inside of our pipeline. We can also add minimum or actual values, expected values, and then all statuses. I highly recommend that you toggle all statuses on. Otherwise, you won't have deal won or deal lost visible in your pipeline. You'll be wondering where that is, okay? Now, you can also view it in a list view. So if you have your opportunities here and you like that list view for some reason better, you're welcome to do that. You can group by different dates. You can sort by different dates, and you can pretty much do whatever you want inside of here. And then you can see the lead, the value, and the confidence of that lead. Next up is the contact section. So if we want to look at contacts instead of leads, maybe we have multiple contacts on each lead. We have the opportunity to go directly into the contact view, which might be associated with a lead that is, has multiple contacts on it. So pretty straightforward there. Now, workflows have a ton of changes in 2026 compared to previous. So we can choose a template. I usually recommend just starting from scratch, and then we can choose exactly what we want to do. So we're going to go through each feature of the workflows inside of here. The first up is you can trigger it manually or one of these other new trigger events. So we can trigger it off of a form submission, a call event, a contact event, an opportunity event, or a custom activity event. For example, when I showed you earlier the call completed custom activity, you can now trigger a Close CRM workflow. That could send an email, an SMS, you could update the lead, you could create an opportunity, you can do a lot of different stuff. For this, we are essentially going to do, let's say, a form submission. Okay. So we got to go publish our form real quick. Let's go back there real quick. We're going to go down to forms. We're going to come in here. We're going to publish this guy. And then we're going to come back to workflows. So we're going to create our new workflow. We're going to click start from scratch. We're going to go down here to form submissions. Let me refresh. It doesn't look like it is there yet. Form submission, create form. There it is. Now you can choose filters essentially for it to trigger on. So if you have a specific UTM source that you want it to trigger on, whatever it may be, you can do that. I'm just going to skip that step. And you can add additional filters right there if you want. And then we're going to click done. So now, when a form is submitted, it's going to trigger this workflow. So the question is, what do we want to do when that form is submitted? When you click add step, we have email, call, SMS, assign user, task, create opportunity, and update opportunity, as well as update lead. Now, these are brand new. These were released late 2025, and update lead is, or sorry, create opportunity and update lead were released late 2025. Update opportunity is brand new. So we have the option to create opportunities, update a lead, etc. Now, if we come in here, we can choose a field to update. We can choose to update the, whatever we want. We can see the source was added here. So we can see forms. Let's do website form, for example. So we can add that directly to that custom field that we created. Next up, we can come in here and we could do an SMS if we want. So we can choose the delay on the SMS. You can do minutes, hours, or days, and then you can choose the time frame. We can also send from any of these. So we have creator or enrolling user, we have specific user, or assigned user in a custom field. Now, if you choose assigned user in a custom field, this is what I was talking about where you have to have that little toggle for send as turned on. Okay. Now, I don't have any user custom field, so you need to add a user custom field if you are going to use this. Now, you will see your templates right here. So if you created that SMS template, you can select one. If not, you can create a new template or even new template from an existing template. Okay. So pretty straightforward. Now, this toggle right here was literally added a couple of days ago. So ignore workflows, communication schedule, and blackout dates. So for some reason, if you want this to go out 100% of the time instantly, you can check that and it will override just about everything. Okay. So next up, we can do an email or a call. I highly recommend not using this call feature because typically what happens is it gets like backlogged inside of the system. And when you use a call, you can do required or optional. Now, there's kind of two issues with required and optional, and this is just from experience. When we look at this, if you require a call in the workflow, that essentially means that it holds up the entire workflow until that step is completed. Now, me being a sales ops guy, I don't want my workflow held up because a sales rep chooses not to make their phone call. Okay. So the second best option here is optional. And if you do optional, you can delay for, let's say, 3 hours and you can give them time to make that call. If they don't make the call, it skips that step and proceeds with the workflow. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a better method on how to do that here in a moment, but we also have workflow goals on the left-hand side. So we have incoming email, incoming SMS, incoming call, meetings booked, lead status change, and outcome met. You can choose whatever you want on those. Okay. Lastly, we have recipient and schedule. So we can see run once or run multiple times. And then we also have the schedule. So you can choose when to send these. If you want to send in business hours, outside of business hours, you have a fallback time zone. And you also have the blackout dates from your calendars that we talked about earlier. Okay. So workflows has a ton of features. It works very, very well for sending emails, sending text messages, updating opportunities. You can trigger all kinds of things based on the new features that they added within the last, few months inside of workflows. Next up is a new conversations tab. So inside of here, we're going to be able to view all of our conversation history. So any phone calls that happened, we can actually view them inside of here. And then we can also click on live calls. And this will be anyone that is currently live on the phone. So we can have a good ear to the ground when sales reps are actually having conversations. Next up is activity. So we have this section where we can select an activity type. So let's go ahead and select a custom activity. We're going to do call completed. And this is going to pull up all of our call completed activities that we have. Now, obviously, we don't have any because we haven't used them yet, but it would display them and you can view them, you can sort them, you can filter them, which is pretty cool. They essentially work the same way as lead filtering, which we're going to show you in a moment right before the Smart View section. Next up is reports. So you have a couple different options. If you click on this guy right here, you can choose different reports or create new reports. You can also click over here on the left-hand side. So we have activity overview, activity comparison, opportunity funnels, status changes, explore, and set email. In our opportunity funnel, it's going to show us how leads are actually moving through our pipeline, which is pretty awesome. We can choose our different pipelines over here. We can choose specific leads that we want to choose. We can choose if it was active, won, or lost, or it was created. So it's a cohort view there. It also has status changes. Explorer has a lot of cool features. We're not going to go through all of these, but you can do a lot inside of here, and you can also check your email open rates, reply rates, etc. Okay. Now, when we come down here, we see smart views. So smart views are going to be one of the best features of Close CRM by far. So what I want to do is first show you how to submit a custom activity. So when we come over here, let's say there was a call booked activity. Now, you would typically automate this. So we have a call booked activity. We're going to say that we have it, Jordan's the owner. The date booked was 2/4 and the date of the call was today. So we're going to click done right there. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to do a call completed activity, meaning Jordan actually had this call. The call was today. We can take whatever notes we want. The objection reason was not interested, and we'll click done. Okay. Now that is as easy it is to track information accurately and consistently inside of Close CRM from your sales reps. Now, the problem is, what if they don't submit that, right? Obviously, sales reps don't submit things a lot of times. So we want to make sure that they are actually submitting those. To ensure that they are always submitting those leads, we are going to create what's considered a smart view. So we're going to click on the add filter, and we're going to see all of our filters on the left-hand side. Now, if you've ever used HubSpot or GoHighLevel, this filtering is way easier to use. All of them are usable, but this is just so much better than the other ones. When we come to the right-hand side, we can navigate down to custom activities, and we will see our 3 custom activities right there. So all I have to do is toggle on call booked, and that is going to show me any lead that has a custom activity of call booked on there. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to add a second filter, and we're going to go to custom activities, and we're going to say call completed does not exist. Okay. Now you see how that lead just disappeared. And the reason we do this is essentially we're saying, hey, if a call booked exists and the date of the call, so we can add an additional filter. Let me just show you this one more time. So we're going to click add filter. We're going to say custom activities, call booked, toggle this on. So where a call book custom activity exists, and the date of call is before today. All right. So it means the call was in the past technically. Then we're going to add a filter, and we're going to say custom activity, call book completed does not exist. We're going to save that. And we're going to add one more. So call completed doesn't exist, and call not completed doesn't exist. So essentially we can assume in this situation that if a call booked has already happened, the meeting date is in the past, that the call completed or call not completed activity should have been submitted. Now, all you have to do is click save in this upper right-hand corner. We're going to do activities need to be submitted. I would not name it that normally, but for this video, we are. So now we have this custom activity right down here. And what this is going to show us is any leads that have a custom activity for a call booked, but they don't have a call completed or call not completed. Now, the alternative to this is something like a dialer list. So typically what we're going to do for a dialer list is we're going to come in here and we're going to start adding properties. So I'm going to do something. Let's add a custom activity for new lead. So this is going to be 001 new lead. Okay. And we're going to add this. It's going to be date created. So we're going to pop a date on here. So the date the lead was created. We're going to add another one that is going to be lead source, so we can see where it's coming from. We're going to do a drop down select, and we're going to do website. We're going to do form submission. Actually, let's do website. Let's do ads, and then let's do email reply, for example. So we're going to add that right there. And when we come back to our leads, we can see our lead here. We're going to click on this and we're going to create a new activity for new lead. And we're going to select email reply. Now, what this means is we have a custom activity for new lead. I'm going to delete these other two for the example of this video. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. And now we just have Jordan Park, this new lead that came in from an email reply. So what if I want to build a dialing list? I want to use the dialer. I want to dial leads as effectively as possible. Close makes it very easy to do this. We're going to click add filter. We're going to go to custom activities. We're going to click new lead and say new lead exists. Okay. Then we're going to filter out some of these other ones, right? So if they have a call booked, then we probably don't want to talk to them, right? But Jordan does not, so that he's going to stay there. Now we're also going to come in here and we're going to do local time, so we can make sure that we do not call this person between, or we want the time to be between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Okay. Oh, that's not p.m. So 5 p.m. There we go. And now we will filter that person out. Now, funny enough, I'm outside of 5 p.m. because I'm sitting in Thailand right now. So let's just expand this for the use case of this video where you can see how that works, right? So it should come back. Actually, I don't know what local time it has assigned for me. Let's go ahead and just delete this filter for now. But if your leads are coming in from a normal source, I literally don't know if I'm on a VPN when I signed up with this or what time zone it's assigning. But you can use that. So then we click right here. We're going to do communication and we're going to say find latest communication date is not today. Okay. So that means they have not been communicated with yet today. There's been no phone call, email, or SMS to that lead. We're going to also come in here and we're going to do calls. Total number of outgoing calls is less than 10. All right. So there we go. And then we can add whatever filter. So maybe we want lead status, current status is not any of, and then we're going to do not interested, canceled, or customer. Okay. So now we have a actual dialing list where leads will come and go from this list as we call them. Because if I call Jordan today, he's going to disappear and then he'll come back tomorrow. Now to test this, we're just going to click save. We're going to name this dial party. And then we're going to click save. Now you do probably want to share it with everyone in the account, Ken. So we can see dial party right here. And all I have to do to use the dialer, and I know a lot of you have probably been waiting for this specific piece, which is the actual dialer. We can click on this right here and we can click start calling. Now, if we just click start calling, it is going to dial through the leads in order that you see them here. Now, if we want to configure the predictive dialing, we can do that, but you have to have at least like 5 reps in the same smart view dialing at the same time to use it effectively. Okay. Now, start calling is just as easy. You'll be able to do at least $150 a day if your sales reps have any kind of work ethic. Okay. Now, we also have some other options when we're looking at a smart view. We can choose to enroll them directly into a workflow, or we can send a bulk email to these leads. So whatever leads you have here, you can send a bulk email and do that. Next up, we have columns. So something I like to do is sort by the total number of calls, right? So we can call these people in order of the number of calls or create date. So I can also go created and then we'll do calls. And we'll say number of outgoing calls. Okay. So we can see Jordan has 0 outgoing calls and he was created today. Now we have the opportunity to sort by different categories. So we can do by created. So we're going to select date created and we have an option to add up to 3 of these. So we can pick here. We're going to go call. We're going to go number of outbound calls right there. And now we are sorting by both of those. Both of those. Now we can choose descending or ascending. And now we have a better order of which we can call through these people, which means the brand new leads will be at the top with the least amount of calls and we can organize them that way. All right. If you change those, you just got to click save and then that will save it for everyone. Anytime we want to adjust filters, we just come over here. We can click add filters, we can add a filter, or we can drop a filter at any time. So it makes it super, super easy to be able to dial these people. Now, if I come into the lead, again, I can call directly right here. I can send an SMS, I can send an email, I can make a note, or I can log my activities like we talked about earlier. So at the end of the day, you have everything you need inside of here to be as efficient as possible as a sales organization. The last thing that we can talk about is the inbox. So we have one simple, clear inbox where tasks and opportunities are going to stack up here. So you can see this generated a follow up on opportunity, but you also see your emails, your calls, your messages, tasks, reminders, and potential contacts, and everything will be added into the primary. And then if you just want to go look at missed calls, for example, you can click on missed calls right here. Now, let me show you what that, oh, I can't log into my other account. Otherwise, I would show you what that looks like in another account. But pretty straightforward. Now you got a couple additional little settings right here. So if we click this, we can choose what we want to show in our primary inbox. So if you have something that's annoying, maybe you don't want that follow-up opportunity to be in there, I can uncheck this and that will go away as you see right there. We also have this button right here, which will highlight potential contacts. So if you have people in your email that are messaging you, you can just click this and it'll try to pull in those people to the actual system. You also have keyboard shortcut right here. You can review all of those. And then you have this button right here to minimize that calendar meeting side right here. Okay. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns about Close CRM, if you want help building the best Close CRM on the planet, let us know. Feel free to schedule a time to talk with me or someone in my team. We have been doing this for a long time. We build incredible accounts. But my advice to anyone watching at this point is to map out your sales process before you go build your close account, regardless if you're working with someone like us or you're doing it yourself. Open up a Miro board and begin to design the actual structure. When does a lead come in? Where does it go? What stages does it go into? This is extremely important for achieving the outcome. And we got to talk about what outcomes you're trying to achieve. Are you optimizing for speed to lead? Are you optimizing for close rate? Are we optimizing for long-term follow-ups because we got a longer sales cycle? Okay. But this demo should give you everything you need to know about Close CRM. We have a lot of other videos on the channel that break down more of these pieces in detail, but this one is just reviewing the entire platform. It's an incredible platform. We are also HubSpot partners. We're GoHighLevel partners, but we love Close CRM. So we will see you on the other side.